A group of Chinese and Turkish evangelical explorers claim this is Noah's Ark. The structure they've located is near the top of Mount Ararat in Turkey, the place where the Bible says the Ark came to rest.
March 14th, a seemingly normal day, now coincides with a mysterious astronomical event called the blood moon. Since ancient times, the blood moon has always been seen as a sign of upheaval, a sign of important events about to happen. But strangely, this blood moon appears at the exact time when humanity is shocked by new discoveries about Noah's Ark, the remaining relic of a catastrophic tragedy mentioned in the Bible. Is this just a coincidence, or a sign from the Creator? In the Bible, the blood moon is associated with major events, a warning before the day of judgment is near. And now, when the mystery of the Great Flood is gradually being clarified, are we being reminded of an upcoming event, an event that can change human history once again? As darkness falls on March 14th, the moon not only glows blood red, it also reflects a divine message. Mysteries that have been hidden for thousands of years are being revealed, and perhaps we are living in the moment the Bible foretold. Is a new era dawning? Or is this a final warning before a storm of irreversible events? Join us in today's video on Jesus' eternal aura as we uncover the truth about what they found inside Noah's Ark and why it's sending shockwaves across the world.
Kentucky, a man is building an ark. He doesn't think he's the new Noah, but he does think the Bible story may in fact be factual, and he wants to open a theme park to make the case.
On March 14th, the sky will witness a strange astronomical phenomenon, a blood moon, a sign often associated with major events in human history. According to the Bible, this phenomenon has been mentioned as a sign of the end times. In Joel 2:31, it is written, "The sun will be turned into darkness, and the moon into blood, before the great and awesome day of the Lord comes." This event raises questions about Bible prophecies and signs that may be related to preparations for major human events. In the course of history, one of the most iconic stories of world punishment and rebirth is the Great Flood of Noah, an event that may reflect the deeper meaning of astronomical signs such as the blood moon. Researchers, archaeologists, and Bible scholars have long sought the legendary Noah's Ark, a giant wooden boat that is said to have saved humanity and all life on Earth from a cataclysmic event. The story, found in the holy books of Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, describes a 40-day deluge that wiped out all life on Earth, except for Noah's family and the animals they took aboard. However, while the story of the flood is detailed in the Bible, scientific evidence for the event remains controversial. But something unexpected happened when an ancient structure resembling Noah's Ark was discovered in Turkey. For centuries, researchers, archaeologists, and Bible scholars have scoured the globe in search of one of history's most intriguing and elusive artifacts, the legendary Noah's Ark. This mysterious sea vessel is said to have carried Noah, his family, and a vast array of animals to safety during a cataclysmic flood that wiped out the rest of humanity. The story of this epic flood, found in the sacred texts of Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, describes a world-resetting event that reshaped the course of human history. According to these religious accounts, the flood was triggered by 40 days and 40 nights of relentless rainfall, a divine judgment that drowned everything in its path. The only survivors were those aboard the ark, a massive wooden structure that God instructed Noah to build in preparation for the disaster. While the Bible provides intricate details about this vessel and its purpose, tangible scientific evidence proving the event's occurrence has long eluded researchers. Many in the scientific community remain skeptical, dismissing the flood as a myth or allegory rather than a historical event. However, a remarkable discovery in Turkey has challenged these long-standing doubts. An ancient formation, strikingly similar in shape and size to the biblical description of Noah's Ark, was found nestled within the rugged mountains of eastern Turkey. This fascinating find, known as the Durupinar Formation, has captivated historians and believers alike. The structure bears an uncanny resemblance to a ship and is located near Mount Ararat, the very place the Bible names as the Ark's final resting spot. The discovery sent shockwaves through the Christian community, rekindling hope that tangible evidence of the Ark had finally been unearthed. Yet, skeptics continue to question the formation's authenticity. One of the primary objections is that Noah's Ark was made of wood, whereas the Durupinar structure is a geological formation that appears to be composed of rock and other materials. However, scholars who support the discovery argue that given the immense passage of time estimated at roughly 5,000 years, the original wooden ark could have undergone petrification, transforming into stone-like material. The harsh environmental conditions over millennia would have caused any wooden remains to either decay completely or fossilize, making it possible that the Durupinar formation is indeed the last vestige of Noah's vessel. What makes the Durupinar structure even more compelling is its dimensions. Measuring approximately 515 feet in length, 85 feet in width, and 49 feet in height, it aligns almost perfectly with the biblical specifications of Noah's Ark. Furthermore, archaeologists have dated the site back to approximately 3000 to 5000 BC, further strengthening its potential link to the Great Flood. This finding is considered the closest physical evidence of Noah's Ark ever discovered in recorded history. The biblical story describes Noah's Ark as an engineering marvel, a colossal vessel constructed during an era when shipbuilding was virtually non-existent. According to the Genesis account, prior to the flood, the world had never experienced rainfall, making the concept of a deluge utterly inconceivable. Noah's divine mandate to build the ark would have seemed absurd to the people of his time. Yet he persisted, devoting 120 years to its construction. Following God's instructions, Noah built the ark from gopher wood, reinforced with pitch, and designed it with a single door and a window. His task extended beyond construction. He also had to gather and store massive quantities of food to sustain his family and the animals for the duration of the flood. As the ark neared completion, a miraculous event took place. Animals of all kinds began making their way toward the vessel, entering in pairs as if instinctively aware of the impending disaster. Once all the creatures and Noah's family were safely aboard, the Bible recounts that God himself sealed the ark's entrance. What followed was an unprecedented catastrophe. 40 days of torrential rainfall submerged the earth, and the floodwaters covered the highest mountains. Though the rainfall ceased, the flood persisted for a staggering 371 days before the waters finally receded, allowing Noah and his family to step into a new world. The Bible specifies that the ark eventually came to rest on Mount Ararat, a volcanic peak in present-day Turkey. However, despite extensive searches, no conclusive remains of Noah's Ark have been found on the mountain. Over the centuries, numerous expeditions have been launched to locate the vessel, with some claiming to have discovered wooden remnants or other artifacts, but none have been verified beyond doubt. This is why the Durupinar formation has generated so much interest. Although it is located on Mount Tendurik, rather than Mount Ararat itself, its proximity to the biblical site has led many to consider it a credible candidate for the ark's remains. This has fueled speculation about whether the ark could have been displaced from its original location due to geological activity, landslides, or other natural forces over the millennia. Some researchers argue that while the formation appears to be a natural rock structure, it could still hold remnants of Noah's Ark buried within it. One of the most prominent proponents of the Durupinar site was Ron Wyatt, an American nurse anesthetist and self-taught biblical archaeologist. Wyatt, who gained notoriety for his numerous claims of biblical discoveries, first spotted the formation in 1986. His passionate advocacy for the site led many within the Christian community to embrace the idea that the Durupinar structure was indeed Noah's Ark. He conducted over 100 trips to various biblical locations, attempting to uncover evidence supporting religious narratives. However, he faced intense criticism from mainstream archaeologists and scholars who dismissed his findings due to his lack of formal archaeological training and the absence of peer-reviewed excavations. Despite this, Wyatt's work inspired further investigations into the Durupinar formation. Some researchers have conducted ground-penetrating radar scans, which reportedly revealed subsurface structures that resemble a ship's framework. Others have claimed to find fossilized wood and iron rivets at the site, which they believe could be remnants of the ark's original construction. However, many experts remain skeptical, arguing that the formation is simply a natural geological feature, possibly shaped by erosion or volcanic activity. The primary controversy surrounding the Durupinar site lies in its deviation from the exact location specified in the Bible. While Mount Ararat is traditionally believed to be the Ark's final resting place, the absence of definitive discoveries there has led some to consider alternative explanations. Could shifting geological conditions have relocated the Ark over time? Or could Mount Ararat itself have been misidentified, with the true Ark remnants lying elsewhere in Turkey's mountainous terrain? Regardless of the scientific debates, the Durupinar Formation remains one of the most compelling and mysterious discoveries related to the Noah's Ark legend. For believers, it serves as a powerful symbol of faith and divine providence. For archaeologists, it represents an intriguing puzzle that continues to inspire exploration and debate. Whether or not it is ultimately proven to be Noah's Ark, the Durupinar Formation stands as a testament to humanity's enduring fascination with one of the Bible's most famous stories. As investigations continue, the search for the truth behind Noah's Ark remains as captivating as ever, bridging the realms of faith, history, and science in a quest to uncover the secrets of the ancient past.
Archaeologists say writings on an ancient tablet confirmed there was a global flood and an ark that carried animals.
The search for Noah's Ark has long been a subject of fascination, with many researchers and historians exploring various locations to determine where the legendary vessel might have come to rest after the Great Flood. While some believe in the traditional account that places the Ark on Mount Ararat in Turkey, others argue that the biblical reference to Ararat might not refer to a physical location at all. Instead, they suggest that over time, translations and misunderstandings may have led to the assumption that the Ark rested on the mountain we now call Ararat. Several theories challenge the idea that Mount Ararat was Noah's final landing place. One such theory suggests that the name Ararat itself may not have originally referred to a specific mountain but was instead a general region. If this is the case, then the Ark could have landed in a completely different area. Another theory posits that over the centuries, the names of mountains were mixed up, and what we now call Mount Ararat may not have been the same mountain referenced in the Bible. Some researchers even speculate that the Ark's remains may have been relocated due to natural disasters, such as landslides or earthquakes, which could have shifted its original resting place. Historically, various explorers and archaeologists have claimed to find evidence of Noah's Ark on Mount Ararat. For example, in the 19th century, the British scholar James Bryce reported discovering wooden fragments high up on the volcanic mountain, leading him to believe he had found remnants of the Ark. However, while such findings support the idea that Ararat was once the Ark's resting place, they also raise the possibility that the vessel might have later been displaced by natural forces. Theories about the Ark's location do not stop at Mount Ararat. One particularly intriguing theory was put forward by researcher and author David Allen Deal. Deal suggested that Noah's Ark may not have landed on Ararat at all, but rather on another mountain known as Mashu or the Misha Mountains, which lie near Ararat. His theory draws from ancient texts, such as the Epic of Gilgamesh, which describes a similar great flood and a mountain where a large vessel came to rest. Deal warned against taking biblical and historical texts too literally, and argued that these ancient accounts might have been symbolic or misinterpreted over time. Another of Deal's theories is that Noah and his family might have dismantled parts of the Ark after the flood to build their first homes. This could explain why wooden fragments have been discovered in various locations, including Mount Ararat. While Deal's claims about Mesha Mountain are compelling, no significant discoveries have been made at the site to confirm its connection to the Ark. Despite the lack of definitive proof, the search for Noah's Ark continues, with many researchers focusing on the Durupinar Formation, a boat-shaped geological structure in Turkey. Early proponents of this site, such as Ron Wyatt, theorized that a severe mudslide could have swept the Ark away from its original resting place, depositing it at Durupinar. Wyatt's claims have intrigued many, particularly because of certain findings at the site. One of Wyatt's most compelling discoveries was a small stone carved into the shape of a boat with 8 faces. He believed that these 8 faces represented the 8 survivors of the flood: Noah, his wife, and his 3 sons with their wives. In ancient times, biblical cultures often created monuments and structures to commemorate significant events, such as building stone altars after important battles or divine encounters. According to Wyatt, this stone was likely a memorial left by Noah's family. In addition to the carved stone, Wyatt also discovered strange metallic objects embedded in the formation. These objects, composed of magnesium, titanium, and aluminum, were later identified as possible metal rivets. The presence of such materials suggested advanced construction techniques, which some believe support the idea that Noah's Ark was a real, man-made structure rather than a mythical legend. More recent archaeological studies have sought to verify the significance of the Durupinar site. A team of researchers from Turkey and various U.S. universities has conducted extensive excavations and analyses. Their findings have added to the intrigue surrounding the formation, particularly the discovery of evidence indicating human activity dating back as far as 5000 BC. Professor Faruk Kaya of Agri Ibrahim Sassin University, who has been involved in the research, confirmed that soil and rock samples taken from the site revealed human presence from the period following the flood. Beyond identifying signs of early human life, the research team made another groundbreaking discovery: marine materials and seafood remnants embedded in the rocks and soil. This suggests that the region was once underwater, consistent with the biblical account of a great flood. Analysis of nearly 30 samples collected from the site at Istanbul Technical University confirmed that the materials dated back to at least 3000 BC, with some evidence pointing even further back to 5000 BC. Given that many biblical scholars estimate Noah's flood to have occurred around 5,000 years ago, these findings have led some experts to believe that the Durupinar site could indeed be linked to the Ark. Despite these compelling discoveries, not all researchers agree with the Durupinar theory. One of the most vocal skeptics is Irving Finkel, a scholar who has spent much of his career studying ancient Mesopotamian clay tablets. Finkel, known for his controversial views, believes in the Great Flood story but argues that the biblical account was heavily influenced by earlier Sumerian and Babylonian myths. According to Finkel, the true details of the flood are found in a 4,000-year-old artifact he calls the ARK tablet. Finkel spent 2 decades deciphering the text on this ancient tablet, leading him to a surprising conclusion. Contrary to the common depiction of the Ark as a large, canoe-shaped vessel, Finkel's translations suggest that it was actually round. He stated that this revelation was one of the most shocking discoveries in his 44-year career. If true, this theory would challenge many traditional beliefs about the Ark's appearance and construction. The search for Noah's Ark continues to spark debate among archaeologists, historians, and biblical scholars. While some find the evidence at Durupinar compelling, others remain skeptical, arguing that the site is merely a naturally occurring geological formation. Theories about alternative locations, such as Mount Mesha, add further complexity to the mystery. Meanwhile, scholars like Irving Finkel question whether the story of Noah's Ark should even be interpreted as literal history, suggesting instead that it is a retelling of older Mesopotamian flood myths. As new technology advances, researchers are able to conduct more detailed investigations into these sites. Future excavations, improved dating techniques, and further analysis of ancient texts may one day provide more definitive answers. Whether or not Noah's Ark is ever found, the story continues to captivate people around the world, serving as both a powerful religious narrative and an enduring archaeological enigma.
If you were to discover definitively something that could pin science on the Noah story, how fantastic would that be?
Well, it would be pretty cool, and I'm confident we can. We just have to look.
Throughout history, researchers and scholars have explored the fascinating story of Noah's Ark and the Great Flood, with some dedicating their lives to uncovering every possible detail about this ancient event. One such enthusiastic researcher even wrote a book about his discoveries, stirring immense excitement within the Christian community, while leaving many skeptical scientists puzzled. This story, often dismissed by those who adhere strictly to scientific explanations, continues to gain attention as more pieces of evidence emerge suggesting that the biblical flood may have actually occurred. The flood narrative is one of the most well-documented and widespread stories in ancient history. While many skeptics argue that the flood is purely a myth, there are numerous convincing pieces of evidence that hint at a catastrophic deluge that once engulfed the earth. For instance, archaeologists have occasionally discovered remnants of ancient seaweed and fossils of marine creatures embedded in soil samples from high-altitude regions, including mountains. These discoveries suggest that these highlands were once submerged beneath vast bodies of water. While this evidence is compelling, it still raises questions. Is this enough proof to confirm that a massive, planet-wide flood once destroyed everything in its path? The legend of Noah's Ark has long been a point of contention between religious believers and the scientific community. Many devout Christians firmly accept the biblical account as historical truth, viewing it as a testament to divine intervention. However, many scientists remain unconvinced, arguing that the timeline of such an event does not align with the established history of humanity and the planet. Without substantial physical proof, they contend, the flood remains nothing more than a religious narrative rather than a historical occurrence. Nevertheless, stories of a catastrophic flood are not unique to the Bible. Many ancient cultures around the world have their own versions of a great deluge that reshaped civilization. One of the most well-known is the Epic of Gilgamesh, which recounts the tale of a mysterious man named Utnapishtim who survived a great flood after being chosen by the gods. In this version, the gods were enraged with humanity and decided to wipe out mankind, a strikingly similar account to Noah's story in the Bible. Similarly, Hawaiian folklore tells of a man named Nuwu, who constructed a massive canoe to escape a devastating flood, eventually coming to rest atop a mountain. The Atrahasis epic, dating back to the 19th century BCE, also shares uncanny similarities with the biblical flood. It describes how a great flood forced the world to start over and even mentions a 7-day warning preceding the disaster. These recurring flood narratives, despite their cultural differences, all depict an apocalyptic event that wiped out civilization, only to be followed by a new beginning. Among these ancient stories, Noah's Ark holds a particularly special place in the hearts of millions of believers worldwide. This deep connection is why countless people have embarked on personal expeditions to Mount Ararat, hoping to uncover remnants of the Ark. Mount Ararat, widely believed to be the Ark's final resting place, has long been shrouded in mystery. One of the most intriguing discoveries in recent years is the Durupinar structure, a peculiar formation that some claim resembles the remains of a large ship. This has fueled speculation that Noah's Ark may indeed lie hidden within the peaks and valleys of this legendary mountain. The magnitude of the Great Flood, if it did occur, is difficult to fathom. According to the Bible, Genesis 7:20 states that the floodwaters rose 15 cubits, approximately 22 feet, above the highest mountains on Earth. This would mean that even Mount Everest, standing at a staggering 29,000 feet, would have been submerged. If this were the case, the amount of water needed to achieve such an event would be astronomical equivalent to emptying the total volume of 2 world oceans onto the planet within just 40 days. Some conspiracy theorists even propose that this cataclysmic flood was responsible for the extinction of mythical creatures such as dragons, werewolves, and the giant Nephilim mentioned in biblical texts. Skeptics often raise practical concerns about the feasibility of Noah's Ark. One of the most frequently asked questions is how Noah and his family could have managed to care for thousands of animals over the course of more than 300 days. Providing food and water for such a vast number of creatures, disposing of waste, and maintaining a livable environment in a sealed vessel for almost a year seems almost impossible under normal circumstances. Additionally, critics argue that a wooden structure of the Ark's reported size would struggle to remain afloat without advanced shipbuilding techniques, which were presumably unavailable at the time. Despite these doubts, for many Christians, the story of Noah's Ark represents a divine miracle and a powerful demonstration of God's intervention in human history. The longing to witness the Ark firsthand has inspired some believers to create modern tributes to this ancient story. One of the most remarkable efforts in this regard is the Ark Encounter in Kentucky, USA. Founded by Ken Ham, a well-known creationist and religious enthusiast, the Ark Encounter is a massive, multi-million-dollar project that brings the biblical Ark to life. This full-scale replica of Noah's Ark was constructed based on the dimensions recorded in the Bible and is celebrated for its incredible craftsmanship and intricate wooden architecture. Standing as a testament to biblical history, the Ark Encounter draws visitors from all over the world, attracting over 1.5 million people annually. Spanning an enormous 800-acre landmass, the Ark Encounter is more than just a life-sized model of Noah's vessel. It also features a surrounding theme park, providing guests with an immersive experience that transports them back to the time of the Great Flood. Designed to bring biblical history to life, this site offers exhibits, educational programs, and interactive displays that showcase the Ark's construction, the flood narrative, and the challenges Noah might have faced. Due to its success, Kenham has even bigger plans for the future, including recreating other biblical landmarks such as the Tower of Babel and an ancient model of Jerusalem. Despite the impressive efforts of modern-day believers to revive the memory of Noah's Ark, there are still many lingering mysteries regarding its ultimate fate. Numerous questions remain unanswered. Did Noah and his family dismantle the Ark to build homes and infrastructure after the floodwaters receded? Could an unforeseen catastrophe have destroyed the remains of this legendary vessel, leaving no trace behind? Or does the Ark still lie hidden beneath layers of ice and rock on Mount Ararat, waiting to be discovered by future generations? As researchers continue their quest to uncover the truth, the story of Noah's Ark remains one of the most captivating enigmas in human history. Whether viewed as a literal event or a symbolic tale, the flood narrative continues to inspire awe and curiosity. While scientific excavation may one day provide definitive answers, for now, the story of Noah and the Great Flood remains an enduring testament to faith, resilience, and the mysteries of the past.
Part of Kentucky, a man is building an ark. He doesn't think he's the new Noah, but he does think the Bible story may in fact be factual, and he wants to open a theme park to make the case.
Hidden in the wild and rugged terrain of eastern Turkey, nestled between the towering peaks of Mount Ararat, lies a place shrouded in mystery and fascination. For centuries, Christians, archaeologists, and explorers have been captivated by the legendary tale of Noah's Ark. Recently, intriguing speculations have emerged, suggesting that an ancient ark has been discovered in Turkey, with portions unearthed for the very first time. What could this discovery mean, and why does it hold such significance for the world? We are Jesus Eternal Aura. In today's video, you will have appropriate answers to all the questions above. Before you know what happened, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and click the bell icon for all the latest updates.
Archaeologists say writings on an ancient tablet confirmed there was a global flood and an ark that carried animals.
Did archaeologists really find the real Noah's Ark? Researchers from a trio of universities in Turkey and the United States spent about a year analyzing rocks and soil in the famous Durupinar formation on Mount Ararat, the highest mountain in Turkey. They believe the ark-shaped site may contain the remains of the legendary Noah's Ark. The biblical story of Noah tells of God instructing Noah to build a giant ark to save his family and animal pairs from an impending flood intended to destroy evil and wickedness. Evil was spreading on earth, and Noah's Ark is said to have landed in the Ararat Mountains after a 150-day flood about 5,000 years ago. Researchers now believe they have found evidence of human activity near the mountain's boat formation from around 5,500 to 3,000 BC. Faruk Kaya, AICU Vice Chancellor, stated that analysis of rocks and soil from the uniquely shaped area on the mountain showed human activity in the area dating back to the years after the legendary flood of Noah's Ark. In terms of chronology, it is said that there was life in this area, Kaya said. However, human activity is not supported by the Bible. The Durupinar formation has been considered a potential resting place for the Ark for many years and has received widespread attention from those hoping to find Noah's Ark. Despite the hype, archaeologists have consistently asserted over the years that the formation is natural, not the result of a petrified shipwreck, and there is no geological record of a global flood like the one described in religious texts. Some believe more localized flooding is possible, but that too is controversial. The Ark is one of the most iconic religious symbols in the world. Flood legends exist everywhere people are found, with more than 200 cultures around the world preserving some type of flood or ark story. God said to Noah, "Make an ark of gopher wood, 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, and 30 cubits high. Do it with a lower, second, and third decks, for behold, I will bring a flood upon the earth." Noah did this. He did all that the Lord commanded him. Genesis 6, ESV. The Bible narrates the account of Noah, who God commands to build a massive ark. The goal is to save his family and a couple of animals from a great flood that is intended to eradicate evil on earth. Ancient traditions even mention an accessible ark with an annual festival to commemorate its arrival. People have used bits of the ark as amulets in the past. In Genesis 6:14-16, God provided Noah with explicit instructions for the ark's structure. The ark was planned to be massive, measuring 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, and 30 cubits high, 134 by 22 x 13 mem, or 447 by 73 ft. These measurements were based on the number 60, which appears in a similar ancient Babylonian narrative about a flood hero. The ark was divided into 3 sections, reflecting how ancient Israelites saw the world: heaven, earth, and the underworld. Inside, each section was as tall as the Temple of Jerusalem, serving as a tiny representation of the universe. Some believe the ark and tabernacle were intended to preserve human life. Furthermore, the ark had a side door and what was known as a sar, which could have been a roof or skylight. According to God's instructions in Genesis 6:14-16, the ark was to be built from gopher wood, a sort of wood referenced only in this section of the Bible. Inside, it was separated into kanim, a name that normally refers to birds' nests, but some believe it could allude to reeds. The ark was also intended to be covered in kopher, which is pitch or bitumen. Over the last century, numerous persons have claimed to have located Noah's Ark, with an emphasis on Mount Ararat in eastern Turkey. According to the Bible, the Ark rested on the highlands of Ararat following a 150-day flood approximately 5,000 years ago. However, it is confusing to imagine how a wooden construction could resist the weather for almost 4,000 years, especially given Mount Ararat's volcanic activity up to 1840. Despite these hurdles, the search for the Ark and alleged sightings continue. Some believe its discovery will occur if it is in accordance with God's plan. Recent research reveals that human activity occurred near a boat-shaped feature on Mount Ararat between 5500 and 3000 BC. The journey to find Noah's Ark on Mount Ararat offers an intriguing possibility, yet Mount Ararat has garnered greater attention. Expeditions to these mountains have spanned from informal hikes to meticulously planned explorations employing cutting-edge technology for scanning and surveying. Despite the fervor and commitment of these explorers, conclusive evidence of Noah's Ark on Mount Ararat remains elusive. It is essential to recognize that these expeditions pose formidable challenges. The geographic terrain of both Mount Ararat and Mount Ararat is daunting, characterized by severe weather, unpredictable landscapes, and political complexities. Political instability in the region poses challenges for explorations. Additionally, the passage of time has likely deteriorated any wooden structures that might have survived, exposing them to decay, snow, ice, landslides, and other natural processes. The lack of solid archaeological evidence has also been a major obstacle. Despite reports of various artifacts and anomalies, none have provided irrefutable proof of Noah's Ark's existence. Consequently, scholars, archaeologists, and theologians continue to debate the reality of Noah's Ark.